Hello everybody, in today's video we're going to be going over a very cold pattern that's going to be taking place over much of the central and eastern United States over the next couple of weeks, but it's going to be mainly centered over the central United States, where we're going to have the most anomalous temperatures, maybe closer to negative 20 or 20 degrees or maybe 25 degrees below normal. That would mean that your temperatures would be probably right around 30 to 35 degrees for overnight low temperatures in some of the areas in the central plains, so very cold temperatures for this time of year. We're also going to be briefly talking about what's currently going on with that snowstorm in the Midwest and the plains, as well as the Rockies, and then that other snowstorm in parts of the Northeast. So let's get right into it here with your current National Weather Service page. You can see that we currently have some winter weather advisories and winter storm warnings up already for parts of Colorado, Kansas, Nebraska, South Dakota, Wyoming, and a little bit of Montana as well. And we also have some red flag warnings in effect for a little bit of Texas, western New Mexico, eastern Arizona, and southern Colorado. We have severe thunderstorm watches in effect for south central Texas, as well as some flood watches in effect for southern Louisiana and southern Mississippi, as well as a little bit of southern Alabama. Eastern Kentucky is under some frost advisories currently. We have some winter storm warnings up in that pink color for western and northwestern Massachusetts, southern Vermont, much of New Hampshire, away from the coast, and also the northernmost counties not under a winter storm warning. And then also for northwestern Maine, we have some more winter storm warnings. We also have some scattered winter weather advisories, and even a little county there in central Massachusetts that's actually still under a winter storm watch, where we could be dealing with up to 6 to 12 or more inches of snowfall in some of those areas. Here's that first system on the current radar, and I'm recording this right around 12:40 p.m. Eastern time. So in mountain time, that would be right around 10:40 in the morning, and we're looking at more that would be 10:40 in the morning mountain time, and in central time that would be 11:41 a.m. So we're looking at more of that snow covering much of western Nebraska, western South Dakota, and scattered throughout parts of Wyoming. Now there is snow happening in the higher elevations. It's just not being picked up on the radar because it's getting cut off by the higher terrain. So for example, it is snowing in some of these areas over just west of Denver and the foothills, but you're not seeing that on the radar just because the radars can't pick up on that on that feature in the atmosphere because of how tall the mountains are. And really the main action is going to be back through here as of right now. Eventually we're going to be starting to see that head further to the east, and it's going to start to cover more of these areas into central Nebraska and northeastern Colorado, as well as a little bit of northwestern Kansas over the next coming hours. Here's the current snowstorm in parts of the northeast, but we're still at the phase of this where it's not switched over to snow just yet. Probably by later tonight, so probably in another 5 or 6 hours, so right around 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern time is when I think we're going to start to see the first transitions of snow, starting off firstly in parts of the Green Mountains in southern Vermont, then transitioning over to parts of the Adirondacks and also the Catskills, and also getting down into some parts of the Berkshires in western Massachusetts. And then eventually, as more of that precipitation heads to the east, we will most likely start to see some of that snow even start to pop up in parts of the White Mountains in central and northern New Hampshire. Most of the rain is actually coming down fairly steady, especially if you live south and east of New York City, as well as some of these areas right near Binghamton and near Watertown, New York. Some of those big areas that usually get hit with lake effect are now dealing with a very, very heavy rainfall, and that heavy rainfall is going to help bring down a little bit of colder air from upper parts of the atmosphere. So here's what the European model is showing for the temperature anomalies. And we're going to quickly scroll through this as well, show you the low temperatures that are expected. So this is for tomorrow morning, and we're expecting temperatures that in Fahrenheit will be up to 10 degrees below average over pretty much the entire central and eastern United States, with exceptions along the west coast and the southern part of the United States. But you can see how we have a broad area of below average temperatures, and unfortunately, I know a lot of you guys want to get outside with all the with nice warmer weather, but we're gonna be really stuck with all these cold, gloomy days where we're gonna have rain and also just chilly temperatures in general. So not the most pleasant April weather. Hopefully, especially into mid and late May, hopefully that can start to improve when we get into the warmer weather. But for the time being, not looking too nice in terms of spring weather. But that is typically how spring is. It's kind of all up and down with a lot of rain and sometimes chilly temperatures, especially into the early part of spring. So this would be by Saturday morning, and you can start to see how the cold air is starting to take shape, especially over the south central and central plains. And this is going to be the main area that I want to focus on, because we are going to have the farthest anomalies right back through this area. While we will be seeing cold temperatures, of course, over the entire most of the United States that's east of the Rockies, it's going to be especially over the central plains and over that area. So you can see how those cold temperatures are expanding by this point. This is by Sunday morning, the 18th of April, and we're looking at some fairly chilly temperatures, especially over, again, the central and southeastern United States as well, starting to taper off for parts of the East Coast and the Great Lakes. So starting to get a little bit warmer there, most likely near average or a little bit below average for those areas, but it's only getting colder for the central plains. Now, pretty much that entire central column of the United States is 5 or more degrees below normal, spreading eastward as well, so into the southeast, the Ohio Valley, now getting into the cooler temperatures. It looks like the northeast might be able to hold on to some slightly below normal or maybe near average temperatures just for one more day, and then it looks like by Tuesday, it's starting to get a lot chillier for much of the United States. So you see these temperatures that are close to 20 or 30 degrees below normal, especially centered over Wyoming, Colorado, Nebraska, back through some areas like Kansas, Oklahoma, northern Texas, and even back up into areas like Iowa and Minnesota as well, unfortunately. And then here is by Wednesday of next week, which would be April 21st, very cold temperatures compared to normal over these areas in the central United States. So especially over areas like Texas, Oklahoma, and Kansas, where we have temperatures closer to 20 or 25 degrees below what is normal for this time of year. By Thursday of next week, so in about 7 days, we're going to be seeing temperatures that are still 15 degrees or more below normal over pretty much the entire central part of the country. And now the East Coast is really starting to get in on some of the colder temperatures as well, but it's still, again, centered over the central area of the country. And then just one more frame here, and you can see that we have those cold temperatures now starting to center over parts of the Mid-Atlantic, the Northeast, the Ohio Valley, and the Tennessee Valley as well. So here is what the actual low temperatures are expected to look like. This is for tomorrow, and when you see that kind of whiter or blue color there, the very light blue or the white color, that's where you're below 30 degrees, or you're right around 40 to 30 degrees. So that's generally that temperature range. So that's the range where you could be dealing with potentially freezing and also frost on some of those chillier surfaces. So if you have any gardens or plants already set out, you might want to cover them with some sort of sheet so that they don't really freeze over, and you might want to put a tarp over them, or just bring them inside in general, because it will be getting very chilly over the next couple of days. So you can see those cold temperatures are still mainly hanging on for the northern United States. Really, the southern United States has not yet gotten in on the cooler temperatures. Still very warm with temperatures that are in the for low temperature getting down to about 60 or 70. So that's definitely pleasant enough, and I know a lot of you guys definitely like low temperatures in the 70s right about now, but even those areas in the Gulf Coast are going to be hit with a little bit of chillier temperatures compared to what they're used to. You can see that we have a fairly chilly air mass into the Rockies, and that's mainly because of that snowstorm. It's digging in to parts of the eastern United States, so you can actually see a little bit of a hook right there, and that's the actual system. It's bringing in all this cold air from Canada And that's going to be kind of the trigger that's going to set off this entire chillier and colder pattern for the central part of the country. So this is by Sunday, and we have temperatures that are fairly similar to what we had on Saturday. By Monday, not much has changed. Still cold, but it's getting actually even colder. If you live up through the Dakotas, Wyoming, and Montana, we have temperatures that potentially are getting down into the upper 20s, even the mid 20s, and then some parts of the Rockies and higher elevations could even get down into the teens on Monday. So definitely feeling like winter. And by the way, this is for April 19th, so we're almost finishing off the month of April, and we're still dealing with areas that are in some higher elevations getting down into the lower teens, some of the lower elevations even getting down into the 20s. So very, very chilly pattern for this time of year, and definitely does not feel anything like April right now. It would be by Wednesday, and we're dealing with temperatures that are going to be into the upper 20s for some of these areas right through here, even down through areas in the panhandle of Texas and Oklahoma, and then back up through the spine of the Rockies. This would be by Thursday, and you can see those chilly temperatures still lingering on for the northern part of the country, the Northeast, the Great Lakes, the Midwest, and the northern plains as well, all dealing with temperatures that are going to be sub 40 degrees, so that's when you're getting into the range of potentially dealing with frost and freezing issues. And again, if you have a garden outside or you have any plants that you want to keep safe from all that cold weather, either bring them inside or put a tarp over them so that they don't freeze over during all this cold weather. And this is going to be by Friday of next week, so April 23rd. And you can see we have that chillier temperatures into the eastern United States, starting to warm a little bit more up through parts of the south central part of the country, but still fairly chilly for those areas for this time of year. Now, I'll actually go back here. I accidentally skipped over this, but here's the 6 to 10 day outlook, and you can see that for Tuesday into Saturday, so this is for the 20th into the 24th, the Climate Prediction Center is actually expecting a 80 to 90% chance of being below average through this area, and you can see how the entire area from the central part of the Rockies eastward is dealing with some of those very chilly temperatures, or at least expectedly cold temperatures. The only area that might be warming up is going to be along the western United States, and also maybe the lower half of Florida as well. But other than that, it looks like much of the rest of the United States is getting very chilly. And then this is the 8 to 14 day outlook, which takes you from the 22nd through the 28th. And you can see still chilly temperatures lingering on here, so really not a good sign if you want those warmer temperatures like I do. And it's really not pleasant weather for spring. But again, hopefully by later and mid-May, we could be getting into some warmer temperatures. And just to show you that, here is the 3 to 4 week outlook. So it's starting to kind of eat away at the cold temperatures according to the Climate Prediction Center. This is from April 23rd to April 24th to May 7th, and we are expecting these above average areas to be in the western United States. They have an equal chances region for the eastern United States, which means it could go either way. Usually when they do that, that's the area that they're expecting to be below average, so it'll probably actually be a little bit colder than normal in the eastern United States still for the time frame from April 24th to May 7th. But if we look at the May outlook in general, this is for the entire month of May. They're expecting above normal temperatures, except if you live in the northern plains or the northwest. That's where they have an equal chances region. But they are showing potentially that we could go back into a warmer pattern, luckily, for much of the United States, and really centering over the southern half of the United States, and especially over parts of Oklahoma, Texas, New Mexico, and even a little bit of Kansas, where they have that highest percentage of being above normal for this time frame right here. Here's the 3-month outlook, and you can see that we actually have an even bigger area of above normal. You can see 2 pockets of 60+%. We have one for the southwest and the south central United States, and another one over the coastal northeast. Both of those areas look to be the hot spots for this 3-month period from May, June, and July. So this is over much of the summer months, and we're looking at some rather warm temperatures. So it looks like it's going to be beautiful weather, especially for the summertime, but we will have to endure one not so nice month to get to those warmer temperatures. Here's that risk of having cold hazardous temperatures, so hazardously cold temperatures over the eastern United States, and they're saying that from the 22nd to the 25th there's the risk of excessively cold temperatures in the eastern United States. So from that time frame, you do want to watch out for that risk of chillier temperatures. So that is going to wrap it up for today's video. Please consider liking the video, subscribing, and turning on notifications, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.